Hello and welcome, viewers. My name is Shay and this is Shay Develops. Today we are going to do something fairly simple, and it's building a table in HTML. I'm going to show you guys all the tags that you're going to use when building a table and the table attributes. And it's actually going to be pretty simple. And at the end we're going to add some CSS and make it look a little better. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new file. We're going to call it table.html, and then another new file, we'll call it table.css. And then now in our HTML page, we're going to do a doc type. And then, nope, that doesn't work. I've switched to Windows, so if you guys watch my emit command and realize that the exclamation point tab, oh, now it works, and I'm a total liar. Awesome, let's do that. There we go. Now that we got that working, we want to call this table tutorial. All right. Now time to start our live server. Command Shift P, live server. You see that it started right here on the right. Let's actually make this a little bigger. There we go. Nice. All right. So a table only has a few tags. There's the table tag, which surrounds the entire table. You can add a caption to the table, which is just like a little note that you want to add to the top of the table. I'll save that there. See, this is the caption, and that'll look a little better as we continue on with the table. There is a table head, and this is the head part of the table. This is where you put like your row head information, for lack of a better term. And then you'll have your table rows, your table head cells, your header cells, and then you'll have your regular cells, then you'll have a body, and then you can have a footer. Alright, so let's start creating all that. So we have our head here with our caption, and then in order to start a row, we'll just use the tag tr, and then we want a head time. So let's create a table with students, right? So we'll put like first name, and then last name, and then they're all going to have scores, right, for their tests or whatever. So we'll say score 1. Let's go ahead and just copy that. 2 and 3. Alright, so let's save that. And now you see we have our first name, last name, score 1, 2, and 3. Let's make that a little bigger as well. There we go. Now let's create our body, which you can do that with the T body element. And then you create another table row like you did right here in the table header. And then we want some we want some names, right? So now instead of the th for creating headers for your for each column, like I said, this is a row, and then each one of these is a column. Well, actually, each individual one is called a cell, but you know how hopefully you know how a column works. It goes down. All right, so we use the TD element. That is going to create a regular cell where the TH creates a header cell. And then now we'll put Jason, and then for his last name, we'll put Jason Pizza. Yeah, that's a great last name. There we go. All right, so now we have Jason Pizza. And let's give him some scores. So we'll give him a 56. Jason's hasn't done very well, but then he does a little bit better. It's a 76. And then on his last one, he gets 82. So now we've got that. This will be our first row of actual data. And let's go ahead and copy all of this, and we're going to make a couple more students. Call this one Tammy Tacos, and Billy Bob. That's great. All right. And we don't really care about their scores. The scores can stay the same. So now you see we're starting to create our table. And that is basically it. But now we can add, though, we can still add a footer. And then we can start to modify how the table looks. So with a footer, though, we just use the tfoot element. And then it's built just like anything else. We use the table row. And we can do something like we can actually do a table header and put average score, and then give the average score. That would easily be, it should be the average score for score 1, it'd be 56. And then we can copy that. $56, $76, and $82. But now we run into a problem because these don't line up. Well, that brings us to our first attribute that we can attach to our cells, and that one is row span equals, and then you give this an integer number, and that's how many rows, or how many, actually this should be column span, my apologies, at least for this example, but there is such thing as row span that will expand down in the rows, but this will expand across the columns, if that makes sense. Hopefully you'll see this here in just a second. So we wanted to expand 2 rows, right? Because we wanted to take over the first name and the last name columns. So we want to expand over 2 columns. So we save that. And then now it's starting to line up. But now we want to do another table row, and we want to do, let's say, the total average. So we'll actually do a table header. Forgive me for my everywhere typing here at the moment. Total. Let's just do school average. That makes more sense. All right, so we're gonna have a, and we'll say that it's 73. I have no idea what the school average would be, and I'm not doing the math right now. All right. So boom, now we have that, but we're at the issue again where it's not lining up. So again, we can use our column span, say 2, and then I want to use the column span, and we can say 3, and then there we go. You've got that looking more like a table there. Now there's also a couple more attributes that you're going to want to familiar yourself with. The other one, like I said, is row span, or where things will take up as many rows down as you've indicated. So let's do, with this score 3 right here, let's do row span equals, let's do 3 rows. Save it. And that didn't work at all. Go figure. Let's move it. Oh wait, what? No, that didn't work. Okay. I saw something. I thought maybe it did. There we go. Now we got the regular cell here, the row span, and you can see how it's pushed itself down and then pushed everything else over, so it's looking kind of weird. So let's go ahead and take that out. Let's go to the CSS. And let's start adding some CSS. So the first thing let's do is let's add a border around all of our cells and headers and rows and all that good stuff. So border 1 pixel solid black. Oh, but we didn't tell our HTML that we wanted it. So let's table.css. And now we have some borders, and you might actually be able to see a little bit more. Row span equals 3. What's going to happen? So you see JSON has now expanded across 3 rows, and then because it is pushed, these are supposed to be on the same row, or not the same row, these are supposed to be within the same column. The Tammy and the Billy, it has pushed them out of the way to go into the second column, but that doesn't look very good, so we want to get rid of that. So maybe we wanted to do something like, what school did they go to, right? So let's do a table header of school, and then we can do our first table row. We can give it a table header. We can do row span equals 3, and we'll say they went to awesome school. Oh, let's give them one more row span. There we go. So now we have school, and then it pushed the first name, and then got everybody all lined up. Now let's do some more CSS. So let's say we don't like the way that those borders are working, and we want to do, we just want single line borders around everything. We can use, after we give it a border, we can use the CSS command border collapse and collapse. Let's save that. And now we have just a single line border that collapses all the borders of all the, the touching rows and cells and stuff, and then just makes them into one border. And then we also, let's see here, we want to do table header. Let's give it a background of dark gray and background ground. Yeah, that doesn't work. Background color. There we go. And then we'll do color white for the text. Now we're onto something here. And then now our other cells, let's see here, now our table rows. Say we want to alternate the colors. So we want nth child, let's do even. We'll do a color of light, not white, but light gray. Let's do 999. Oh, not changing the text of the color, but the actual background. And you can see how all of our odds have, or evens, excuse me, have changed. So you might be asking yourself, well, how is this an even if it's the first one? That shouldn't be an odd. But no, because our first table row on this piece is actually awesome school right here, and then it goes down to our next ones. So if we were to do odd, now that switches that up. However, let's add one more Billy, and then we'll change the school to take up 5 rows. There we go. And now we'll say, notice we said odds, right? Let's switch that back to even. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, but then something weird happens. Now we're on row 6 and it's not lit up. Instead, it waits and goes down to row 7. Well, what's happening, didn't mean to save that. What's happening is in each section, so the table header, it counts all the rows in the table header. In this one, there's only 1, so it's an odd. But we've specified already that it's got, its own. But we're doing evens anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But then it goes down to the table body, and it starts to recount again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it goes to the table footer and counts again. So it skips that first one and goes to the second one. So rather than this being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one being even, this is actually 1 and this is 2. So now this one's technically even, and that highlights that one. And that's pretty much it as far as tables. I mean, you can make them as as complicated or as easy as you want to. They can get you can make them look even kind of funky sometimes. And if you're using tables though to like lay out your page, it's not really a good idea. There's so many better ways out there to do that. As far as grids, if you want to check out my grid video, we go over a template on how to do that, and there's going to be another update to that where we're going to make it responsive. But as far as just tables though, you only use tables to lay out tabular data. So something like this, scores on a test, or specs of multiple different kind of cars, or there's several reasons to use it, but to lay out a site is not one of them. Anyway, though, I hope you guys enjoyed and found this informative. If you'd like to do me a favor, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, left me a comment, tell me what you want to learn about next. I'm going to be going over HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Java, Ajax, whatever it is that I'm currently learning at the time. I'm going to put it up here for you guys, and hopefully it teaches somebody and helps somebody out. Like I said, drop me a kind word, tell me what you didn't like about it, so I can improve my videos, because I really want to do that. But I really just want to help people and help people learn. Alright, so you guys take care. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.